our podcast. I am Nancy Christine Brady, and I am here with the lovely, talented Tara Diana. We are mediums, and we have this handy little podcast. If it's the first time for you listening in, hey, welcome. Grab a cup of whatever your favorite beverage is and sit down and enjoy a chat with us. If you're a reoccurring listener, we appreciate you and thank you for coming back.
Make sure you're giving us a 5-star review and an actual review. Type in your comments. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. We read them all, so we really want to see those comments. Also, let your friends know. This is just one of those like conversations, chit chat with spirit that just happens, and anyone can get involved. And our content is meant for everyone. So get us out there, people.
Awesome. Okay, so today these are probably my favorite ones that we do, which is listener questions because it's you guys driving the content. So, Tara, are you ready? We got 4 questions for today.
Okay, 4 questions. I'm ready. Let's see what they
Okay.
do to me.
All right. What questions should I ask to prepare before I have a reading? And that is by submitted by Jane B.
That's interesting because I'd be like, don't ask any questions. Come with no expectations, no judgments. Now, if you're talking about someone like I don't do consult like calls beforehand, like you don't get to call me up and 15 minutes of you asking me the questions gonna want in the reading. Like I don't do that. So
Mhm.
what I would say to you is do your research first. Right? If you need to have a conversation with a medium, I don't get this like at all. I think it's happened like 3 times in my whole career of doing this. But if you need to like legitimately like have a conversation with the medium beforehand, be respectful. Ask for like 5 minutes of their time and hop on a quick phone call or Zoom call. I prefer Zoom. I don't actually do phone calls anymore with people. So hop on there. You'll get the vibe. If it's good to go, be like, yes, I feel good with this. Thank you so much. I'll go in and book online. I'll go book with you, but don't go on there and start, sussing out anything. Either you like the vibe or you don't like the vibe, and just go in with no judgment or expectation. You will know what you want from them. You'll know what you need from them. That energy will go out there, and if they can produce it, they will produce it. Any good medium too, Nan, and you'll agree with this. Any good medium will say within 5 to 10 minutes of an actual reading, if it's not jiving, they will literally give you your money back and carry on. So
Yeah.
no harm, no foul. It wasn't the right fit.
Yeah. And the only other advice I would add to everything that Tara said is don't play test the medium game. Don't sit with your dad and go, I need you to get the medium to say the word red or, the exact day of my death. These are things different mediums are going to connect differently. Take it's an incredible amount of effort and energy from spirit to communicate with us. So, don't pigeonhole your reading on listening for 1 or 2 things because you might miss a very beautiful message that's being delivered.
And I think that people don't understand that this is not like sitting down and having a conversation with me and you. Hey,
Mhm.
Nan, how are you today? What color are your socks? You know what I mean? It's not like that. We put the energy out, we ask the questions, but it has to come down a whole funnel to get through us and then get out there. So you have to be able to really be open to the messages that come. I just had someone in person. I don't do as many in persons as I used to for a host of reasons, but I had someone sitting here and she's like, I gave great evidence. It was perfect. Everything was good. And all of a sudden she says to me, out of the blue, what was our favorite song? And I just looked at it and I said, "I don't know, something to do with the heart." Because immediately, and actually that was how he passed away. But it was something to do with the heart set. And she didn't tell me one way or another, but I looked at her and I said, if they give me it, great. If they don't, I don't worry about it, sweetie. And I kind of just was like, I moved on. Now, some people might be like, oh, well, that means that you can't connect. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. I just give what I get. If you have, certain questions that you want to ask, such as where is the will? Sometimes spirit will give, when you come in and you have something distinctive and it didn't get answered already, it will likely not get answered. For whatever reason, I don't know why spirit picks what they pick to come through. It's not up to me. I'm not involved.
No, we're not driving the train. They are driving the train on what they're going to deliver.
Exactly.
All right. I think that answers Jane's question. So the next, if not, Jane, write back and let us know. Uh, all right. Second question. What is your process for connecting with the spirit world? That's from Sheila.
What's your process?
Well, it depends on which spirit world I'm connecting with, and I'm gonna explain that a little bit. When I'm doing my animal communication, I communicate a little bit differently than I do when I'm communicating with past loved ones. So, for example, I have a what I call a soul room that I go to. So if the animal is passed, or even if they're present, and I go up into this room and I sit there with the animal and their higher self, and usually their owner and their higher self, and we sit around sort of a table and we talk, and I get messages and I bring it back down of what they need to know, because it's kind of like a trilogy. Like I have to connect to the owner and the animal in order to sort of deliver those messages. Um, but when I'm connecting to spirit, I basically go up and it's like a zipper. I go up and it comes down, right? So I raise my vibration. Spirit lowers theirs a little. And like you said earlier, it's all sort of funneled in and
Yeah.
then delivered. I just kind of call myself the telephone.
That's an interesting thing about the animal communication. I had no idea that's how you did it, but that's kind of cool. Kind of like when I do Akashic Records, I move into a library.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah,
it's different. It's some of it's different. Like I can do Dr. Doolittle stuff where if it's telepathy, I'm literally having a conversation, but more often than not, it's yeah, it's a room that I go to.
that's super interesting. Um, my setup is nothing. I
Yep.
literally am like a light switch. I turn it on and off. So if someone says to me, "Hey, can you give me a reading?" and I'm walking down the street, I could. I don't. Don't ask me, but I don't. But I could. You know how some people like when we do message nights. Every medium has a different way of getting into their power, right? Sitting in their power, and there's lots of mediums that do like meditation beforehand, and I'm just not that person. I just like to go in and be like balls out. Let's go, spirit. Ready? Here we go. And so that's how I don't have any expectation. I know that when the people show up, it is what it is. And we just come in, they sit down. I might take a breath. I might kind of clear the space a little bit and be like, oh, that's a lot of energy. Let's kind of tone this down a bit. But as for calling in, I don't do any calling in. The one thing I do that I mention a lot is sometimes when I get up in the morning, I'll quickly look over my day. Like I only read on certain days. And
Mhm.
so I will look at the day and be like, okay, Susie Q's coming, Jeremy's coming, Paul's coming. And I'll just put that out there. And sometimes I will get a message before they even come and I quickly remove them. I don't know why I do that. I think I do that more to see who's coming, when they're coming, how much time I have in between. But sometimes that sets up for spirits to start coming through.
Agreed. Yeah. And you've been doing this work a long, long time. Like, so, and for those of you who don't know Tara, she can't sit still. So it does not surprise me, the whole sitting and zenning and meditating. When I first started, I definitely did all of that. But now that I've been doing so much platform work with you, you got to be ready to go when Tara calls it. You got to flip that switch on and go because that's what we're doing. But yeah, I occasionally will have spirits kind of tap in before and go, hey, and it's like, nope, not time yet. Come back when it's time for the reading. But yeah,
I literally envision that closed, like a sign that says closed.
yes,
Something interesting that I'm going to say to you, talking about how I do move around. Like you'll watch me now. I'll play with my hair the whole time, right? It's just a Tara thing. This is how she does. But I also, if I have to sit on platform or I'm teaching something, I tend to cross my legs and I'll jiggle one of my legs, the one that's crossed over. And it's a subconscious thing. It's not like I need to do this. It's just a subconscious thing I do. And I've had two people say to me, "You need to stop doing that. It bothers me."
really.
Yeah, it's distracting for me. And the second time the first time I was kind of taken aback a bit. I was like, "Oh, sorry, sorry. Don't want to take you out of your meditation." Like, sorry. But the second time they said that to me, I looked at them and I said, "Oh, you know what? This is just natural for me. Sorry, this is just how I am when I'm in the midst of doing the work, and hopefully you can find a way to maybe look up, not
Were they
focus on my."
were they beginners to the world? Because I
Yeah, they pretty much were. So
yeah,
they're hyper focused on
everything around rather, because I know that sometimes a lot with beginners, then they're trying so hard to connect and get in the zone that there can be those subtle distractions. So
Yeah,
interesting.
that and that's for sure what it was. And but I had to stand like kind of my ground there and be like, I'm not going to hyper focus my mind on am I shaking, am I not shaking? Because
Yeah.
that takes me out of my power.
Yeah.
But I did put out to spirit. I'm like, okay, can you maybe tone it down for me? Is there something that my, you know what I mean? And I don't know if it did or didn't, and it didn't bother me after that. But yeah, it's one of those things. I think that sometimes people, I get it that it was distracting for her, but her focus needed to shift. So it wasn't so much about me having to stop, shaking my leg. It was more about, baby, you're not focusing on the right thing. You need to step back in ground and realign.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Personal opinion on that one.
Totally. Well, there you go. Sheila, that is the how we connect in 3.5 seconds or less. Let us know if
Literally.
that.
Literally,
Yeah.
that's it. Light switch on, light switch off. And here, Nan, can I add something to that, please? I
Yeah.
just want to say this. I really feel that it's absolutely beneficial for you to learn how to move in and out of spirit with ease. So, learning all sorts of ways, like I said, all the old school mediums do the meditation beforehand, put themselves into a place of comfort and ease. I appreciate that because sometimes that higher vibration can be disconcerting for people that are doing the work. Everyone does it differently. So, but when I teach, when I mentor people how to move into spirit, I want them to be able to move in and out of it with ease so that they don't have to spend a ton of time, coming into this space or coming out of the space, that they
Mm.
have the tools and the ability to move in and move out and move in and move out. This will also help you in the beginning for sure. When you come across a place like for me, hospitals, cemeteries, schools are very,
Yes.
very, very busy. Like I even had a bit of a moment at the fireworks in downtown at Stanley Park, English Bay, when we went down there. I don't usually put myself in crowds like that. Concerts I'm fine with. I don't know what that is. But anyway, but I don't usually put myself in that kind of situation just because more of a humanist anxiety, making sure I can find my way out the door, that kind of thing. But I just feel it's really empowering when you're able to take control of that and just be like, okay, I'm going into a funeral or a celebration
Yeah.
of life. And I can walk in there and I'm just completely in my power, not in my power to connect to the spirits, but in my power to be able to be human and facilitate the energy there with my humanness.
Yeah.
Because once someone knows you're a medium, and that you connect, they have questions or they want you to, are you seeing them? Are you seeing them? Are they here? And you're like, or hospitals.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you brought that up because for me it's definitely an on-off switch now. Like you turn it on, you turn it off. And you're right, we are souls having a human experience. We have to be able to be in our human and do what we need to do. And
Balance.
totally it's about balance. And for those of you who are developing mediums or psychics listening to us, it does become easier. It does become easier to flip the switch on and off the more you do the work. So if you're not there yet, don't worry about it. Keep doing your meditation. Eventually you're going to get there.
I'm going to say something. And I think, Nan, we should make this a topic about old school mediumship.
Okay.
I think we should make that one of our podcasts, Boo, because there is definitely a specific kind of feel to the mediums that have been one taught in England or anywhere over there, but also in what they perceive as to be a correct way to connect. Oh my God, all the old school mediums must hate me because here I come in and I'm tattooed, I fidget, I go over the place. The only thing I won't do, Nan, and you know this, is I won't come off platform. If I'm doing platform work, there is a group of people in front of me. I ain't coming off platform because I ain't diving into everyone's energy and all the spirits they're bringing with them. I need to be in control back on platform. So that sweet Claudette Gooding, thank you for that piece of, because that helps you stay in the power, right? Other people will get off, especially newer ones. They feel like they need to get closer to someone to get more messages or whatnot. For me and me alone, I need to be on that platform, but I also need to know that I have to be authentic in myself.
Yeah.
So, old school mediumship, they love their meditations, they love their, you know, they love it, and I'm not judging them. I'm just saying it ain't working for me, and I'm holding the ground as a medium. 20 plus years doing this stuff, and I seem to be doing okay without having to follow specifics.
That's right. All right, we'll add that to our topic.
Thank you.
All right, next question. How do you handle skepticism or doubts about your abilities? That's from James.
I don't know if we talked about this in another episode, but again, recently someone came into the home. It was a woman who'd lost her husband, and she brought his nephew, who he was very close to. Now, apparently he was a skeptic. He was such a nice guy, good looking too. Oh goodness. Anyway, that was a bit distracting. But they came into my space, and they brought this little wiener dog with them as well, which was so cute. But she kept saying he was skeptic. He kind of low key played it, but I let it get into my head
Oh
that
no.
he's a skeptic. So all of a sudden I start doing this like proving thing, which I was given the messages, but I kept looking at him almost like I was looking at approval. And all of a sudden I heard in my mind, stop it. And I felt like my guide, I have a specific guide I work with. If you know, you know, Tony. But I was like, okay, because all of a sudden I realized I was given a reading. I was given a good reading, but I was hyper focused on getting approval all of a sudden. Fuck
Yeah.
that. Hell no. No, no, no. So normally skeptics don't do a single thing. I can't even tell. I'm just like, I give the message and whatever. But because she kept going on that he was a skeptic and, oh, he doesn't really believe in this. And he said to me, he's not going to say a single thing and he's not going to feed you anything. And I was like, I feel like she did exactly the opposite of what she was trying to do. And I got niggled.
Yeah.
I was niggled, man.
A nickel nan. Well, normally, so I was telling Tara before we started recording this podcast, I got trolled on YouTube, and
Oh, baby.
there was so much hatred. I deleted it and I moved on, and it was
Good girl.
okay.
Good girl.
But in person readings where I've had skepticism or doubts, it's not my job to make you believe in this. My job is my agreement with spirit. If you want to come and you want to have messages and you want to hear from your loved ones, I'm more than willing to do that, but I don't play test the medium game.
Mm,
I've ended a reading before
me
where,
too. Me too, baby.
yeah, they've been like, well, I need the date, I need our favorite song, like you referred to earlier, or something like that. And I was like, no, we're not. If you are here and you're open to receive messages, 100% I'm going to deliver those. But um there is the other side where it does feel good when you win over a skeptic. So like I've had people where they've sat with me and at the end they're like, I was a bit skeptical because I've never had a reading, but wow, I'm a believer now. And I'm like, yes, because that's like,
That's it. That makes you feel good. And there's been tons of times that I gave a reading and I was like, I don't think this person could take a single thing I said. Like I came out of there feeling, and they'll be like, that was great. Thank you so much. And like genuinely being like happy. And I'm like, okay, Tara, get that fuck out of your ego. Sorry, I've been swearing a lot in this one. Get the fluff out of your ego. But do you know where I learned how to take skepticism and just shove it like just shove it is doing platform work, specifically at the Spiritualist Church in Burnaby, the First United Spiritualist Church. I learned a long, like Nan's not wrong. And she says I've been doing this work a long time. She's not lying. I've been doing platform work forever, like in a day. And so when I will never forget, this man had brought a woman with him, and usually it's the woman dragging a man with him to this,
yeah.
but this was the opposite. And he was in the front, and I'd given this woman this big long message, and he was all in. He's like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And she was like, and for those of you, that can't see me because you're listening to this, I was literally like blank face, just like nothing. She wouldn't acknowledge anything. And so I just said to her, if this doesn't make any sense to you, please put it on the shelf. You'll understand it later. And bless this man who literally came back to the church afterwards, found my business card, and called me and said, I want you to know, boo boo. He didn't call me boo boo. I'm calling myself boo boo. He said that you were bang on with her. She just couldn't take it. She didn't want to be there. She was kind of under duress there. And I was like, why would you bring someone that doesn't want to be there? But none of my business, not my story. Um, and he says, I just want you to know because I think it's only fair you know. And I was like, well, thank you so much. So that showed me that people come with, like I said at the beginning, don't come with expectation, don't come with judgment. You can, I hope that my mom comes through, but that's cool. Put out that energy. Mama will hear you. Mama will come through. But don't have judgment of what a good message is and isn't, what
Yeah.
good evidence is and isn't.
Yeah.
Because for everyone it's different. There are people that give names and give dates. I'm the person that gives more characteristics, feelings, how I feel like they had cancer. I feel like I'm that
Yeah.
medium. If a name comes up, hallelujah, amen, let's go. But you want to be skeptical about something, you get to be skeptical. I'll prove it wrong. But if you're in there and you're hardcore, this is it. This is the only way that she can prove to me that she's not bullshit. That's your problem, not mine. That's a you thing, not a me thing.
Yeah. Well said. I similarly, it kind of ties into our first question. I had a lady come to me and she was sitting with her daughter, and I brought through a beautiful message from her cousin, and she just nope, 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 wouldn't have any of it. And I just pushed the money back at her. I said, sorry, I'm not connecting to who you're needing to. And obviously this isn't, working, da, 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 sent her on her way. Her daughter comes back in and puts the money on the table and says, you connected with her cousin. You brought through authentic evidence that it was her cousin. She didn't want to hear from anybody but her brother. And I said, oh, I'm sorry
And
for
that's
the,
not your problem.
I said, well, that's too bad. And she says, no medium has been able to bring her brother through. And she's like, you did a great job. And so I love that you said that. Like, it's not our problem. So if you, like, returning to the first question, if you come in open and you are ready to receive beautiful messages, you're going to receive them.
All day, every day. And here's the other thing, her brother doesn't have anything to give at this time.
Yeah.
There is a reason that her brother is not coming through,
Yeah.
right? You may go to one medium who brings through, how many times have you gone to him or heard a client say, "Oh my God, my grandmother always comes through,"
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
grandma is obviously got a lot of energy towards this individual, has a lot of things that they want to say, has wants that connection for themselves and for this person. That grandma has to want to come through though.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
cannot drag them kicking and screaming. Quick, speak into my funnel. We need to hear you. Damn you. Come. It's not like that, right? It's not like that. And I think people really who aren't spiritual or aren't into the metaphysical, they can get very confused by this, which is another reason that people tend to, go to psychic fairs and they'll go see like 8 psychics or 8 mediums or a mixture of them all and top it off with a energy healing from 3 people.
Yeah.
And really in the end, they haven't gotten anything that they really wanted to because mostly they're just looking for someone to do the work for them or a specific message and they'll just keep going till they find it.
Can I tell you one feel good story I had when I first came out of my dining room and I started doing psychic fairs?
Yeah.
And I had this girl, and I was doing a reading for her, and I brought through her grandmother and one of her spirit guides, and I gave her these beautiful messages. And then she went and sat next to this veteran medium who had been doing these fairs for years and years and years. And I didn't have anyone sitting in front of me. And oh, well, yeah, Nancy just told me that. Yeah, Nancy just told me that. Yeah, Nancy just told me that. And I was like, yes.
That's a win.
Yeah, it felt good. I'm like, okay, we're hitting the mark. And it was, but again, grandma had the same messages to deliver from the medium sitting right next to me because she
Right?
didn't have anything new to say, right?
No, no. Fair enough. Okay, so now I get to tell a story, and it's a bit of a different feel good story. It was just like a confirmation thing for me. So I had a client that usually sees a medium. She's an elder now, quite an elder now. And so she hasn't been around very much for a number of years. I would say to you 7, 8 years since she's been really around. And I this makes me laugh. So he decided to come to me. He had a good vibe. I was going to become his medium. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
he was coming to me and he was coming, and he was having all these issues with these bites. He was showing up with all these bites and he kept saying, I think I have bed bugs. I think I have bed bugs, but I can't see them. And I was like, I don't feel it's bed bugs. I really don't feel it's bed bugs. And I can't remember the gist of the whole thing, but I remember I said it with my full chest. I'm not feeling bed bugs here. And
Yeah.
he was adamant he had bed bugs. So he left me because he was so adamant. He went and saw this other medium that he called her and they did a phone reading. And she said the same thing. No, I'm not feeling bed bugs. Well, it turns out he had bed bugs. Why spirit didn't I was like, oh my God, really? I was horrified. And then he said, but so and so said the exact same thing, and she was just as adamant as you were. And I was like, okay, I don't know what the message was. I don't know how we were both, incorrect with that. I don't know if the bed bugs came after and he really didn't. I don't know. I don't know what the whole thing was. But I will tell you with my full chest, I've never been more happier that this woman gave the same message. And we were both wrong.
Right. Right.
I've never been more happier. So, I don't know what the lesson was in him having to get eaten by bed bugs, but luckily he didn't believe either one of us anyway and went and got him fumigated. So, well, final
Nice.
question, Nan. Final
Okay.
question before we
Final
call it.
question, and we'll wrap it up. Are there any common misconceptions about mediumship that you would like to address? That's from Tracy.
Yes, that this is like having a normal conversation between another individual. Mediumship is a medium is the medium between the giver, which is spirit, whether that's loved ones, ascended masters, multidimensional beings, archangels, I don't care. It is the higher being is giving a message to the vessel, the medium. The medium is the person being in the middle, the vessel, and then the vessel gives that to the receiver. So, giver, medium, receiver. This is not like having a conversation with someone and being like, hey, Joe, where'd you put the bankroll of $100 bills because Susie can't find them? And Joe says, hey, medium, that bankroll is under the couch between two pieces of gum and there is dog hair on it. Go find it. It's not like that. It really is not like that. There is always the chance that the message can lose its luster as it comes down from the higher realm. Because remember, that's a higher realm down into us, which is the medium, which is a medium higher realm, and then out to the layman who's to receive it. There is always a chance that there can be a misinterpretation because we're not meant to interpret.
Yeah.
So this is not just like sitting down and having a conversation with someone. We have to raise our vibration enough. And for some of us, it's much easier than others. We're all psychics, we're all mediums. It's easy for me to raise that vibration. Others have to work harder at it to get that message.
Yeah.
It's just not like having a conversation with your husband or your son or your mom like they were here. And I'm just like gathering it and giving it.
Yes. I think that's the best way to answer that question. I don't know if I would change my answer at all. And it is going to be unique for each medium. I mean, some people just feel things, right?
Yep.
It's not like a physical conversation. And also I've noticed a lot, when your loved ones are on the other side, they aren't still in their human. They're not going to tell you what to do, right?
For
There's
real.
there's like a lot of times, what does my mom want me to do with the investment that I have here or there? They are in a completely different plane of existence now, and that is nothing that they're attached to in some cases.
And the final thing I want to add to this particular question is please stop thinking that the spirit, that the human that was here is the same human in spirit.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is please don't dismiss a message from someone because you didn't like them when they were here or they did something unfathomable to you when they were here. And if you come and a spirit comes through, there's a reason that spirit is coming through. And it's not going to be to say, hey, here I am. If someone's done something to you and they are now in spirit, they may have the apology you need to move on or
Mhm.
to change perspective of this individual. because when spirits cross over, they release the experience, their human experience, because they've learned from it. They've accepted the lessons and embodied those to be able to ascend with those lessons so they don't have to come back and do them again.
Yeah.
So they will come with forgiveness. They will not come. I have never had a spirit come back here and be like, fudge you, Nancy. You were a shit person when I was here. You are a shit person now. And I'm in spirit going, shitty, 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 shitty Nancy.
And on that note,
And this is why people follow us.
Tracy, hopefully that answers your question.
And again, just quick, Nan, honestly, that is truth. The spirits release that energy.
Thank you for listening. We'll see. Hopefully you'll come back and listen to us again. We appreciate all of you. Give us some stars and thumbs up. You can find us on all the regular platforms, I think on every platform. Tara is at Spirit Essence by Tara Diana, and I am at Nancy Christine Brady. Seek us out and we'll chat with you next time. We have some good announcements, some sneaky announcements coming. So
Sneaky things. They're going to be so much fun. Love you, Nan. Bye, everyone.